Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome back to another edition of the Between Numbers podcast. And the first round of the draft of the 2017 NFL draft is over, and we have some. Obviously, we have all 31 players. 31? Oh, wait, no. Yeah, just 32 picks, even though there was no pick from the Patriots. We got we got
We
we,
don't
we
need
got
draft
we
picks.
got our entire first round. Yeah, you don't need it. It's true. That headed up with the Cleveland Browns taking Myles Garrett at the number one overall pick, and then this was a draft which was seen to be like a lot of defensive talent and a lot of like defensive talent to go off early, especially in the top 10. And that really didn't come out to be the case in this draft. There was a lot of trading, and then there's a lot of a lot of callbacks taken, a lot of wide receivers, a lot of offensive skill positions taken. I don't think there is even one. There's two offensive tackles going in the first round.
Yeah,
That's how
yeah. It was a very secondary heavy, like good draft, but like, it was quite
mm,
weird that a lot of the guys on a lot of people draft boards in terms of best players in the draft were going mid first round.
hmm
Like
Sorry.
Lattimore, Jamal Adams as well,
Yeah, Lattimore falling all the
and
way down to the Saints at number 11.
yeah, that was
With
kind of
some
weird.
people, yeah,
Like,
some people see there's like the best seen as best cornerback in the draft, and going all the way down to like 11. How like cornerbacks are so like highly rated nowadays as well.
yeah,
Very interesting.
yeah, I thought that
Yeah, go on.
that was pretty fascinating. I mean, and it's kind of weird as well that like it's so typical that every you come to like every draft every year and quarterbacks just get their value just
Mm.
gets inflated so much that you think of like well, I reckon at least one of the quarterbacks that are being picked in the draft this year is going to be like a typical first round quarterback who's going to be crap. Like considering the amount of quarterbacks that got picked in the draft and how no one was really excited about the quarterbacks coming into the draft this year and seeing as everyone
It,
just
wa-
seemed to go
it
crazy on the night for them.
Yeah, it was a lot more that the teams were drafting for their need rather than
Yeah,
drafting for the best player available at that time, which is like obviously the way that some teams go down it. I know there's some teams who definitely like to draft the best player available, but like it
mm,
definitely seemed that especially all the quarterbacks like with all these it's so vital in today's NFL to have like such a standard quarterback. Like you need at least a base level. You don't want a quarterback who's throwing like the same number of interceptions he's throwing as pass downs as
yeah,
touchdowns. And it seems like
yeah.
everyone is building for the future here. Like I don't see any like maybe one. I see one at the most starting right away because I'm very confused by some of the picks.
Yeah.
But yeah, well, what was the highlight of the draft for you?
Probably like the highlight for me was actually the fact that the Cleveland Browns didn't fuck it up.
Mm-hmm.
That like they were in such a good position. They had so many picks. They had the first overall pick as well. And like I genuinely thought that they were going to screw it up. They were going to like trade down and pass on Myles Garrett and take like Mitchell Trubisky or someone
Mm.
or do something really stupid. They played it really well. They took Myles Garrett at one, and then later on they took Jabril Peppers, and then they took another tight end towards the end of the round. They kept trading down, and they took three really good players, and now they've also set themselves up really well. That they've got loads of picks next year as well, and apparently, rumor like I don't know, I'm not an expert on the college game, but what I read is apparently the quarterback class for next year is meant to be a lot more talented.
Mm.
So they're playing the long game really well. That they're building now, like and then like you got to think their defense now as well. Like they've added Myles Garrett, who is I don't know, people like big things about him that he's basically like a better version of Jadeveon Clowney.
Mm-hmm.
Um, they've also got Jamie Collins. They've added Jabril Peppers as well, and they've got a few other bits and pieces on defense. So like that's not too bad. Like I for the first time, if I was a Browns fan, I'd feel slightly optimistic that the current front office and coach might actually know what they're doing.
Yeah, I feel like any time that you can have three draft picks in the first round, you're doing well. And obviously the Browns had at least one of them for the um, for the Rams trade last year with Joe in taking Jared Goff up the number one pick last year. So the Rams got the Browns got the Rams first round pick for this year.
Yeah,
Um, and they traded, yeah, and we said again they so that they obviously they picked number one, then they traded down away from number 12, which is where the Texans traded up to draft their quarterback. But the Browns with the Browns trading down, that went up to 25, and then 4 picks later, from 25 to 29, the Browns trade back up into the first round to get another pick. I mean, like 3 first-round talents, and from what I can see and what people are talking about of these players, like they're to start like right away. And obviously, it's a first-round talent. I mean, like I have a completely different view of the quarterbacks in this situation, because I feel that that's like the one position where you can kind of give a little bit of leeway to players. Like you kind of want everyone else to come in and start straight away, but quarterbacks, it just takes that extra little bit of effort. Anyway, should we get on to some of the quarterback issues here? Because I mean,
so three quarterbacks taken in the first round. The first one was probably the most surprising. I mean, now that Jay Cutler's gone, Mitchell Trubisky will have big shoes to fill in Chicago, and Chicago have a lot of questions to answer. That they went out one pick, and they gave up, I think, their third and fourth round pick plus a pick for next year to go out one spot to get a player who the 49ers didn't even want to take.
And to address a draft need that they'd already addressed in the offseason. I mean, the Bears had, after the release of Jay Cutler, they signed the former Tampa Bay Buccaneers quarterback to Mike Lennon on a 3-year deal, and then they paid him $18.5 million in guaranteed. So they have to give that up, and then from there, they had the number, and at this position they're still holding the number 3 pick in the draft. So let's say it's at that position now. It's number 1 pick. The Browns have taken Myles Garrett, and the 49ers are on the clock. The Bears then decide that either he's not good enough because Mike Glennon's not good enough, or they just want Trubisky for the future. Because the thing I don't understand about here is if you're gonna make this move and draft a quarterback or something, why would you pay all this money to Mike Glennon? Because like it's not. I don't really feel. I'm sure Mike Glennon has been in the league for 4 or 5 years now, but would you really want your future quarterback learning under him? I mean, sure, like, he might have some things, but wouldn't Jay Cutler have been a better mentor for Mitchell Trubisky than Mike Glennon? I mean, Mike Glennon's never really hit the heights of that Jay Cutler has hit.
He's never had a starting job, Mike Glennon. He's been a backup his whole career.
Will he have a starting job here? Because, like, if you're picking number 2 in the draft and then not starting straight away, that's there's a lot of question marks going over. Over the and the main issue for the Bears is that what they gave up. So they were drafting a 3. They gave up to go to number 2. They gave up this year's second and third round pick, and then next year's, and then a 2018 third rounder to move up 1 spot to take a quarterback, which the team they were moving up to take weren't looking for. They weren't looking for a quarterback. They got the same person they want, but with an extra couple of draft picks. Or maybe the 49ers are just really did want the quarterback and decided that all those draft picks were compensatory.
Yeah, I mean, that could be the case. I mean, I think definitely the biggest winner out of this is John Lynch. I mean, he got Solomon Thomas, who's a really exciting prospect at defensive end. He's also got a hell of a lot more draft picks, and he made the Bears look kind of stupid. So, well, hey, like,
and like this is a GM who has been in the job for just over a month.
Yeah, it's his first actual job in the NFL as well. He was an analyst before this.
Okay, well, so they signed him in January, but I mean, so it's not a month; it's like a couple. But
so it's his first draft. It's
his first full-time first GM job, and well, I'm not really sure what he's done, how he's done it, but he's managed to pull it off for the 49ers, and I can see anyone from. I mean, the owner must be quite happy with that. I mean, imagine if the owner, you hire this guy up, he makes this trade, and you're like, I picked the right man. Yeah. If you weren't going to pick the quarterback, then I don't know. It works.
Either way, it's a ballsy move, and and I'd say, well, talking about ballsy moves, we can move on to the next quarterback who was picked, and I actually, out of all the 3 quarterbacks picked, I actually really like this one because I quite like Deshaun Watson. I watched a lot of tape for him playing in Clemson, and he's quite exciting to watch. And he's also the kind of guy who seems to always turn up in like big games. And I think that's what the Texans can really do with is a quarterback who is going to turn up for them in playoff games because
or be there in playoff games, you know. Like...
Yeah, that's a plus point as well. But someone worked it out that the Texans for signing Brock Osweiler has cost them $21 million plus like a second and a first round draft pick.
Of course, and like going over like what the Texans do, I mean, it's really one of the aspects where you feel the Texans, like, it's the one bit of the team that they need to sort out. I really understand this move from the Texans because it makes sense because like what else were they going to do in the draft? Their team is pretty stacked. Obviously, you can always improve, and like, everyone improves in the draft and pick out a different. But their quarterback is a situation. It is one of the more important roles on the football field because if you don't have a good quarterback, like we've seen with the Houston Texans, how far can you go with the rest of the team being amazing, even though the quarterback's just average.
I keep thinking that if they just finally like. Considering how well they do with like the standard of quarterbacks they've had in the last few years, like imagine if Deshaun Watson ends up being the quarterback that they hope he's going to be. Like, could they win the AFC?
I mean, to be fair, with how stacked that defense is, and then now the pieces that they've got in the past few drafts and through free agency. On offense, I mean, we all know how good the Texans' defense is, but it's the offense, you know. And with having obviously you got who's DeAndre Hopkins out wide, and you got I can't remember who their pick last year in the draft first year. I mean, let me find. Actually, I can just.
Oh, what was his name
literally,
again?
Like he was a first rounder, like straight away.
He was really good.
All right, let me wait. I'm finding it.
Oh.
Don't worry.
This is
here we
the
go.
exciting world of listening to people Google stuff.
Oh no, it's gone. I don't know how this has happened. Oh well. But whoever he picked.
Wait, I think I might have it. Will Fuller.
Will Fuller, yes. There we go. So they picked their own. They're getting the offensive weapons they needed. And remember, we thought that the acquisition. Well, people thought the acquisition of Brock Osweiler last year was the kind of stepping stone they needed to take. Obviously, it didn't turn out that way, but I like the ambition from the Texans here in like going for the quarterback because that's the one thing they needed. And obviously, the Texans even have that run game that they picked up through last year in free agency.
Yeah.
So I mean, the Texans have a very decent roster. And I mean, it's just like the one aspect they need. I mean, sorry, Lamar Miller. That's the guy I was trying to think of. Sorry, like the running back. I was just pausing there because I couldn't. But Lamar Miller, the guy picked up in free agency last year, they have that. They have a good, strong running back situation there. And then hopefully the Texans can now make it into competition again in the AFC with this pick.
Yeah,
but
I also think that
we've seen it happen.
If Deshaun Watson doesn't work out. I think it will be bye-bye for Rick Smith and Bill O'Brien.
I feel both of them, yeah. They're both under the collar. I mean, Rick Smith, I think for sure, especially after the acquisition of Brock Osweiler and how that turned out to be. So they both needed to do something ballsy in the draft, which, to be fair, they did. And I like the pick. I think it suited the need they wanted, and like he seems to be one of the people that everyone was hyped about anyway. Before, I mean, obviously I thought there was competition between him and Mitch Trubisky, and like maybe being the first quarterback taken. But then Deshaun Watson goes and slides down to the third quarterback taken. But how about this for the second quarterback taken?
Third.
Patrick Mahomes to the Chiefs in pick 10. You know, when they traded to the Bills.
Yeah, that was really interesting. I also apparently the Saints got screwed over massively in this draft. Apparently they really wanted to take Patrick Mahomes, and then the Chiefs traded up
one spot above. So they didn't Do you think they got a call from the Bills being like, the 49ers have just done that, but there are teams calling us saying they want to go to number 10?
Yeah, I think it's a case.
That's
I think if you
oh yeah, go on.
you don't do that if you're the Saints, because like if you because they don't desperately need a quarterback. I think
Yeah.
it's more that they liked him, and like
Hmm.
he seemed like the kind of guy who you would want to have like behind Drew Brees for
Hmm.
maybe 4 years to like
And
train him. Then you could have like a Jimmy Garoppolo
mhm.
situation or like a Brett Favre, Aaron Rodgers situation.
Yeah.
So, but I think they probably recognise that they're better off not giving up a bunch of draft picks to take a guy they're not going to play for
Hmm.
4 years, and instead just pick the best player available and try. Because I mean, they can still win now. I mean, Drew Brees isn't like it's not like he's regressing. Like they still
And
got
with the signing of Adrian Peterson as well. I mean, the Saints
yeah.
are, and the cornerback is definitely one of the areas they on the defense they need to look at,
Yeah.
because I
I
mean
don't,
I can't name a cornerback on the Saints roster.
but neither can I. But I mean, and also Marshawn Lattimore. I mean, he was. I would say, yeah, like we were saying before, he was probably one of the top 5 players in the draft in terms of just his like pure ability. So they got what should have been a top 5 pick at pick 11. So they got a good deal there.
Yeah, there was definitely for sure talk about him going maybe to the 49ers if Jamal Adams is already if Jamal Adams is like the next defensive back to go up there, it's depending on which one you
Yeah,
preferred. But can we talk about the Chiefs trading up for Patrick Mahomes?
yeah,
I feel that
yeah, yeah,
this pick, like it's the most sensible one out of all the quarterback, out of all the quarterback moves they made, that people made to draft up
yeah.
to move up in the draft to get a quarterback, because they kind of already have a sorted out situation at quarterback. They have Alex Smith, and they are just drafting for the future. And if they see something for the future, obviously you have lots of quarterbacks who come into the NFL, and like straight away they have to go and play. I'm seeing like the numerous Cleveland Brown picks they've had for quarterbacks, and then like Blaine Gabbert for the Jacksonville Jaguars getting picked straight up, and then these players like falling off. But for the Chiefs, it seems like a very this pick is very well received from everyone, because they understand that this is like a pick for the future. And like, I mean, Alex Smith obviously is not the most talented quarterback in the NFL, but he's still extremely knowledgeable and probably one of the best game managers, which is one of the
Yeah.
flaws which people put forward into, well, not flaws, but like areas that Patrick Mahomes could improve upon. And it seems to be
Yeah,
that everything which he does poorly. Alex Smith is there to do. It's basically what Alex Smith does really well, so they can counteract each other, and hopefully he can grow and like learn from Alex Smith.
yeah. I just like massively agree with that. Like, I think as well that like the Chiefs, I think they feel like they've reached a limit to what they can reach with Alex Smith. That like everything around Alex Smith is so talented, and it's such a good roster. I mean, and you look at like how well they played that next year, but Alex Smith kind of just like misses that kind of like X factorness when it comes to clutch situations. That he's such a good game manager, but he's just so solid that he's never going to like be more than that. And I think Patrick Mahomes has everything that Alex Smith has, but he's got more of that kind of X factor to him that they're hoping for. So yeah, and like you said, I mean, Alex Smith, he's no like he gets a lot of stick a lot of the time because of he's got his reputation of being such a like solid game manager and not really taking risks. But I mean, he's a top level quarterback. He's been to the playoffs numerous times. He rarely makes mistakes.
Mm-hmm.
And also you've got a coach in Andy Reid who I think he's probably one of the top 5 coaches in the league. You look at the teams that he's coached and the quick turnarounds that he does and players that he coaches up so quickly. So I think if I was Patrick Mahomes, I'd be extremely excited and content. I mean, again, you do have to go live in Kansas City now, but hey, like
I mean, like that.
yeah,
That's a town which is mad about their football, and like there's a
yeah,
reason why Arrowhead gets hit like the highest levels of recorded noise in a stadium in the NFL. What I think is what's really good for Mahomes here is that he actually has the chance, which is very rarely presented to quarterbacks in the first round, which is to not start straight away, or not to be like clipping at the heels, napping at the heels of the person who's in front of you. Obviously, they want that competition, obviously make Alex Smith and him better. But there's no doubt in I think anyone's mind, especially Andy Reid's, that Alex Smith is definitely going to be the quarterback for at least like if not like not just this year. I feel that he's still good enough for the next couple years.
I think if they have another good year and they go to the playoffs again and they bomb out of the playoffs again, I think I think Alex, he's got to prove himself this year, because if they do that, because they've done the same thing for the last 3 years, for the last 2 years, and if they do the same thing again, I think Alex Smith will be pulled.
I'm not for that. I don't know, because I feel that in for Alex Smith in the and the Chiefs, like they're not. I don't think Mahomes, if he comes in next year, so this is in 2019. If he comes in, the Chiefs they won't have a high draft pick because they're the Chiefs. They're like the most prime time games this season, so that obviously they're like thought to have been quite a team to watch in the AFC. And it seems like one of the powerhouses in the AFC is definitely the Chiefs, and I don't think that they would. You could go for because you would go from such a difference, wouldn't you? I mean, this is just me assuming from from Alex Smith to Patrick Mahomes that it wouldn't. The next year, if you started Holmes, then you would have like a fullback. You wouldn't do as well. You might not even make the playoffs. But like with Alex Smith, you maybe would.
Yeah, I'm not denying they'll make the playoffs with Alex Smith, but I think if they see like fast progression from Patrick Mahomes, and then they kind of get the same thing again from Alex Smith.
So would you like to see them have like Mahomes starting in a couple years, or?
I want to see him start like after a year. Like I'd say give Alex Smith one more year, and like, but then it's a difficult situation because it's not like Alex Smith. He doesn't throw a pick six in a playoff game. He just doesn't throw a winning pass. Like that's the problem. But it's so difficult to justify taking him out.
And I think it's the issue with all the teams that have drafted quarterbacks in the first like round in the past. And they're looking for a player like Alex Smith who doesn't throw the ball away. And it seems from these younger guys, it starts happening at the start of their from them starting to play in the NFL. So it would just I think a regression would be had if the Chiefs went back to if they went to Mahomes for 2019. I feel 2018. Sorry, yeah. Anyway, I'm going to talk a little bit about a couple running backs taken in the draft. Obviously, you got so we talked about the Browns, the Bears, and the 49ers. We already talked about that already. So we're going to the number 4th pick. The Jaguars take Leonard Fournette from LSU. And then the Panthers, my Carolina Panthers, the number 8, also take another running back from Stanford and Christian McCaffrey. For both these picks, I feel that this is, for both these teams, I feel this is like a very solid pick because the number of superlatives and like everything that's used to describe Fournette's play, it seems that he's ready to come in and play straight away. And the Jags, that's something they could use in because their running game is really what's kind of halting them right now. And that this team of the Jaguars team just gets younger and younger, and just when are they gonna explode and like actually make it? Maybe win the division, maybe make the playoffs. Like when is this gonna happen for the Jags? Because they have so many picks in the top like 10, top 5 in the past like 3 or 4 years, and it just doesn't seem to happen.
So and also it's not like they're drafting like bad players. Like they have so many like good players who have been proven themselves, and their defense ended up being like I think like top 10 in terms of like points allowed by the end of the season. It's just Blake Bortles was so bad last year that they ended up being just even worse. But I think I like this pick of having Leonard Fournette because it takes a lot of the pressure off Blake Bortles, who could very much do with it, seeing like the terrible quarterback play we saw from him last year. And I think he's got quite a high ceiling as a player. Like I've heard like some comparisons being made with Adrian Peterson in terms of like not his like ability, but like his running style and like the aggression that he runs with. I don't think people are assuming that Leonard Fournette is going to break all of Adrian Peterson's records, but I think in terms of like how he runs and is very. Like, I watched some videos of him. Like I'd be kind of scared if I was in the secondary because he just like smashes through people so aggressively. It's kind of scary to watch.
It's true. I mean, I think for Fournette, obviously the plays that I've seen them on, though I don't watch a lot of college football. But obviously, when it comes to draft time for the NFL, for you guys, get myself into the college game and like learn just basically get who the people in the first round are, because obviously they're meant to be stars and pretty much in the future. But yeah, for Leonard Fournette, I feel that it's like he seems to be just like a brick of a man. He's ready to punch through all of the the defenses in the AFC South. Which, looking at the rest of them, obviously, I mean, you got the Houston Texans. That's gonna be an issue. But the Colts, I mean, that's not that much. The Titans defense is getting better, but it's slowly not there. So I mean, this could be some. It's like a good place for him to go. I feel with even though the Jags have made like big moves in free agency last year with they're taking Chris Ivory but he's like didn't really do much. And obviously they have the Jags have our hometown. Don't they have a British player, the Jags, in running back? No, that's JJ.
That's JJ. He's in Miami.
Oh yeah, that's really bad. Well, who's that Jags? Who's the Jags?
It's like the only thing they talk about on Sky Sports is the fact that JJ exists.
Yeah, it's true actually. It's so true on Sky. Like all we get in the UK is. Did you see the number of UK people who are going to be in the draft this year? There's like 3 people who maybe could be drafted in like the 7th round.
Oh, but then that happened last year with the Moritz Beringer, the German guy. He got drafted, and then he got cut like a week into training camp.
Did he get cut a week into training? I thought he was on the practice squad.
I think he got cut, but I don't know if he actually made a squad in the end.
Oh, okay, that's unfortunate.
Let me check. I can remember seeing that he got cut and then laughing because.
Oh, that's unfortunate. Anyway, I just want to get on to a little bit of Christian McCaffrey, obviously being with the Panthers. I'm quite excited because it definitely gives us a huge second dynamic in the run game, which really we didn't have. Obviously, we have Jonathan Stewart, who just powers over defenses, and when we meant that push to the Super Bowl, he was obviously pivotal. But this is really nice. We get like a nice like second 1-2 punch. Like teams who have like 2 running backs who punch in, who can swap in and out and give you different plays. It seems to work quite well. And you have different different running backs for different situations. But I feel that he would definitely be more to run catch a pass out of the backfield, and then try and make those defenders miss because his speed is crazy.
Yeah,
and
go on. He's a definition of like a dynamic running back. Like I think it's going to be quite weird because he's a running back who's gone in the you guys picked in the top 10. I completely forgot about that.
I know. Yeah, we were so bad last year.
I don't think he's going to be the kind of guy who's going to be like a workhorse running back. But which is kind of weird that you would pick a running back so high and you don't actually do that. But he's so like dynamic and he like you said, he's so fast. And he can do so much cool stuff. I think he's going to be such a good player for you.
And there's something which like people have talked about is his patience and like that there's like how he waits for everything to open. And like whenever you think about patience in the running back game in the NFL, there's one person that springs to your mind, and that's Le'Veon Bell. Just straight away, Le'Veon Bell is like cute. And if Christian McCaffrey has the same amount of patience, even like to have the patience that Le'Veon Bell has. We've seen a number of times how there's no opening, and then like a second later, I know it's a second, but in the NFL that's a long time. A gap opens and he just goes through, and if that was what we can achieve with Christian McCaffrey, then I'm liking this for the Panthers. And obviously this is really good because it means that if he's catching the ball out of the backfield, that hopefully Cam Newton will not be getting hit the whole time. Maybe McCaffrey can take some of the hits, so that's always nice.
He's young. He's not. He's not.
He is quite young. But yeah, I'm actually quite excited by what the Panthers did there with the pick. I mean, I didn't. It seems there's a lot of need in the Panthers organization. Hopefully, we gets addressed. Sorry, in the draft. That was terrible. But anyway, so we talk about your guys' pick. Oh wait, no.
Sorry, I couldn't hear you over the Super Bowl that we won last year. So
I mean, like, I don't really like Super Bowls are kind of overrated. So
oh well, I consider Brandon Cooks our first round draft pick.
That's true. To be honest, I mean, and you get Coney Ealy as your second round draft pick. I mean, you get into like players who are effectively proven already. So there you go. I mean,
Also, we have Jimmy Garoppolo in the back as well.
yeah, you have Jimmy Garoppolo, which imagine if the Browns were now like, here guys, we can totally take Jimmy Garoppolo off your hands.
Well, they tried. Apparently, they tried like last minute.
Oh, did they actually?
They called the Patriots and they asked if they were like still open to trading, and they were like, no.
We're not.
So,
They should have been like, we'll throw like 4 first-round picks out because the Browns have like 100 now with the number of trades
I like
they've
that as
made.
well because I think that's a smart move as well by the Browns. That they could have taken all those draft picks and thrown them at getting Jimmy Garoppolo. But then they have nothing to like. Jimmy Garoppolo has nothing to play with. Then like he's just there.
That's true. And hopefully this like is laying all this drafting is hopefully laying the work for the Browns in the future. But I mean like talk about like a team who, I mean, for the Browns, this future looks upbeat and everything, and I'm like, okay, I kind of want the Browns to do well. I mean, maybe if they won like a couple games, that would be amazing.
Yeah,
but
like, maybe they go like 6, 7, and 9, or that's pushing it. Maybe they go 5 and 11.
5, okay. What did they get? 1? They went 1. They beat San Diego.
Yeah, they won 1 game last year.
They beat San Diego, then San Diego moved.
Yeah. Also, apparently, so if so the Bears beat the 49ers at some point last season. If they had lost that game,
they would have
picked second, and they could have taken Mitchell Trubisky without giving up.
No. Jay Cutler definitely did it. It was all Jay. He was just like, nah, screw you guys. You ain't getting that. Do you think he's laughing right now, the Bears?
Yeah.
I mean, like, everyone pretty much is.
Yeah. I mean, was it like off-topic question? I mean, is Jay Cutler going to come back? Like,
well, imagine if Jay Cutler comes back to the Bears. Imagine if he goes to the Browns. Oh my god.
Oh, I would love. Oh,
I would love Jay Cutler with the Browns, actually.
Yeah. He's like, what's he do? Like, all he does, is
he even like trying to get back into the league, or does he just not really care?
I think he really I think he's just very much a realist because he knows that he's like an above-average quarterback in the league, and that's worth a lot. So all he's literally probably waiting for is someone to get injured, and he can like get a contract. So
yeah. I hate typing Jay Cutler into Google because you get Jay Cutler and then you get the bodybuilder and Jay Cutler. I'm just like,
I think we mentioned him in a tweet once when we tried to get Jay Cutler on the show. Hey, Jay, if you're out there, Jay Cutler.
Yeah, when we were like, for sure Jay Cutler has a Twitter, and then we went on like literally after the podcast and we searched for his Twitter, and he does not have a Twitter, but this guy does.
Well, apparently they're going to move to Nashville.
Who?
Jay Cutler.
To Nashville?
Jay Cutler.
The Titans aren't going to sign him.
Yeah, they're set to move to... Well, like, they want to move there.
That's like... Imagine if the first pick of the college players did that before the draft. They would just like move to a city that they want to live in. Or if you
I also...
I don't know. Yeah.
I want to see more more aggression from the players and like trying to control like where they go. Like, if I was Myles Garrett, I would have maybe because I don't think he really wants to go to the Browns.
I know, but he wanted to go number 1. There's still that whole thing. Like, you're the number 1 draft pick.
I suppose.
Out of everyone else in the country who graduates college, that you're the person, you're the best. Yes. You're the person most likely to make it in the NFL. But maybe he's had some calls from LeBron James. From LeBron? Yeah, that's true, actually. Maybe, yeah. I feel like LeBron would have tweeted about this. LeBron. Yeah. LeBron James. And then welcome to part of the podcast where we just like stalk on Twitter people. Oh, he hasn't. That's unfortunate.
Oh, what?
That's unfortunate.
Maybe he called him. I don't know.
There's
a lot of pressure on Myles Garrett. Like, he could maybe that's why he was more excited about going to Cleveland, because he could kind of because you know how the Cavs are doing well and the NBA team, the Indians are doing well. Like, maybe he could kind of like jump on that and be like the LeBron.
Don't worry, guys. I'm here to save it. Because like he has been touted as like one of the highest rated draft pick for a few years now.
I mean, he was. I mean, from the beginning of this process, like he was out and out the best player.
Mm. And that's why I always feel that it's annoying in some drafts when you have a clear number 1.
Yeah.
But you don't know what's gonna like. So in this case, you kind of do have a clear number 1, and everyone agrees that he's the best. He's better than everyone else on the board.
Yeah.
But
Well, who knows? Like maybe
what
maybe it turns out that Mitchell Trubisky turns out to be the most Hall of Fame quarterback.
do you want to know just a little quick fact? Do you want to know what I heard about the about what the Bears did with Mitchell Trubisky? Is that they're at the combine. They didn't interview him. They worked him out. He hasn't been you know how like quarterbacks go to different clubs, like different teams for workouts and stuff, and different players before the draft
Yeah.
process. The Bears didn't work him out. They didn't have much contact, and it was literally just before in the phone call when the Bears like, yeah, we're going to trade up to get you. It was just the idea that they somehow then first contacted him. Or like, oh yeah, but they haven't worked him out, and you can do that
Yeah,
before,
he didn't
and I just don't
even
understand.
he didn't even like so you know how they the GM or the coach like calls the player just before they pick him and be like, hey, we're just about to pick you.
Yeah.
He heard that he was getting picked when Roger Goodell announced it on the stage. That was like the first he heard of it.
Oh, that's always good. That's quite fun though, because I mean, like at least it's kind of like imagine looking around the room and be like, oh, no one here is getting a phone call. Someone must be picked by.
Yeah. Well, not all of them go. Like
Yeah,
Miles
no,
Garrett didn't go.
obviously, but like you look around at the same time and then be like, okay, it's someone else, like because like he was there, so
Yeah.
you'd be like, it's definitely not going to be me.
Yeah.
But anyway, is there anything else you want to talk about on this draft special that we have?
What would you like? Okay, if just a random question at the end. So I read that apparently every player gets like a walk-on song when they get picked.
Oh my, what would my walk-on see?
What would your walk-on song be?
Oh wow, what would my walk-on song actually be? Because I feel that I could just go like. I don't think I would go like rap or anything because it would.
They all like.
because,
I looked at the list. They were all like Drake and Kendrick Lamar.
Yeah, like I would. I probably would. I probably wouldn't go for that. I would like. I'd maybe go for some sort of like. I don't know. Imagine if you came into the final countdown.
I would have done it on done it to the for this draft. Done it for because it was in Philly and it was the draft was on the Rocky steps.
Oh yeah, imagine doing that. No, but surely if you were picked by the Eagles, they were like, "Do you want us to play this?" You're like, "Nah." Like, come on.
Yeah. I don't know, maybe take something really mellow just to like set the vibe, like
Just to
I don't know, like something Snow Patrol or something.
Snow
and then have
Patrol
everyone
just to be like, "Hey
crying.
guys," or just some Coldplay for some really depressing stuff. Having Fix You on, like lights will guide you home as you're like walking onto the stage.
Breaking down into tears.
I mean, like I would
Would
be like,
you-
is
would
that
you-
because of the song or because of the moment? You know?
I don't know. Did you also see the guy who I've forgotten what his name is, but he came out with a picture of his grandma?
Oh yeah, who was that? I can't remember who it was. The guy who swore
I think-
on thingy and then said, "Find me
Yeah.
later." Who was that?
I
That was
rate
the
I rate
Bills
that
guy,
so
wasn't
highly.
it? Wasn't it the Bills?
Yeah, it was Tre'Davious White.
Yeah. Find me later. Roger Goodell's on stage, just like, oh, you're getting fined. He's literally like, it was like 10 seconds after walking away from Roger Goodell. He goes over to Deion Sanders to prime time for the interview on stage. And then he's like, yeah, I've worked so hard for this moment, blah, 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 blah. And then like he drops the F-bomb. And then it's just like, oh, I'm sorry. I don't care. Find me later. And Roger Goodell's probably just there, just being like, that's like the fastest time, surely, anyone has to getting into the league and being fined. I mean, if he could have done it right there and been like, boom.
Yeah.
Like
I reckon Primetime was like shocked as well that there was someone doing something that was more shocking than him on stage. Like,
maybe, yeah. With the picture as well. That guy has a lot of memorable moments, I guess.
I only watched the
White.
first. This is one last thing. I only watched the first 6 pick, but does Deion Sanders ever not smile? Like,
Nah, like he can't really. Like you're not on TV. You know, like TV presenters like rarely smile. If you're talking about sport as well,
yeah,
unless they're trying to like if you're just interviewing someone, then you want your questions to be like very happy and blah blah blah. You know, and I imagine he's like happy for them as well because he knows what it is and like to go through and they're drafted and he's like, oh nice, I did that, well done, I know how you feel. But yeah, I know what you mean. Every single time.
Also, Steve Smith was on the NFL Network coverage, and he said that the guy the Titans picked that he's going to be a stud, 10-year starter.
Guy that the Titans picked.
Yeah, the wide
with
receiver.
with the Titans. Oh, Corey Davis when they traded up from
Yeah.
well, not traded up, when they got the Rams pick.
Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah, no, I actually saw that. Yeah, I saw him on like the NFL Network. I was like, yeah, for sure, I'm listening to this. And he has some great opinions, um, which is always good. Anyway, I'm not. Are we just gonna leave that right there? I'm not really sure there's anything else I need to
Yeah.
cover.
Yeah. Well, the
Other than
second
that-
round starts at midnight if anyone wants to watch that.
Oh yeah, we'll totally be like, I might be, whatever. Yeah, probably will be. Even though it's exam times, I'll probably be up at midnight for it. Anyway, I will have like one last thing to leave with you. I would probably, I mean, like Thunderstruck by ADDC, I feel was a pretty good song to run out to go out to.
Yeah.
I
That'd
mean,
be,
like,
that'd be pretty cool.
I would go to that, or like, no, okay, I'm gonna we'll continue to start the conversation afterwards. Anyway, guys, that's it for this week on our draft special. Obviously, we'll have more stuff coming out next week. We get the entire draft, which comes out over this weekend, and well, I'll be watching it tonight. Will probably will be as well, and I hope you guys will too.
Oh,
Anyway,
okay.
oh what?
No, I was just.
Oh, you're not watching
I
it?
didn't realize that I was obligated to watch it.
Oh, you're not watching it? Okay.
No, I am watching it.
Oh right, yeah. No, but I was just assuming, like, you know.
Oh, oh.
All right. Anyway, guys, catch you next week.